Hi everyone, thank you for joining us in this webinar. This is going to be an online day to provide information about the Masters at BSE, academic information, and also information about the application process. Today I'm joined by my colleague Lupe Castro from the Admissions Office as well, the Deputy Director of Academic Programs, Professor Ada Ferrer-i-Carbonell, BSE alumni Rishabh Rastogi, graduates from the Master in Economics in 2023, I think. Okay, so I leave you now with Ada, who's gonna provide information about the school and the academic offer.
Hello, thank you everyone, welcome. So as Sandra was saying, I'm a researcher and a professor myself. I teach in some of the masters, but very little. Actually, I'm here because, as she was saying, I'm the Deputy Director of Academic Affairs, which basically means that I'm overviewing all the academic offer of the BSE. Let me share my screen so that I can show you the presentation, and also please, Lupe and Sandra, let me know if there is anything that is not working properly. Okay, you interrupt me if that
Sure.
is the case.
Yeah.
So the presentations have already been done. So let's move. So as Sandra was saying, I will first talk very briefly about more the academic part, and then they would take over and talk more about the practical issues of how the whole admission process works. So very briefly about the BSE. So the Barcelona School of Economics, or BSE as we call it, is a initiative that brings together 4 academic units that I'll tell you very briefly about it, that all had a very long-standing reputation and leadership in the field of economics. And by joining already more than 10 years ago, by doing this initiative of joining our forces, we had been able to create this big community, that is the Barcelona School of Economics, that we work together both in the academics programs as well as in the research. Universitat Pompeu Fabra, the Department of Economics, which is in the campus of Ciutadella. The other institute in the campus of Ciutadella is CREI, which is a research institute, especially of international economics, macroeconomics. And then 2 in the Bellaterra campus, one of the departments, the Department of Economics of the University Autónoma of Barcelona, the Unit of Economic Analysis, and the one I am member of, which is the Institute of Economic Analysis, which is a center of the CSIC. Both, so I don't know if you can see that, the University Pompeu Fabra and the CREI, those 2 are in a Ciutadella campus in Barcelona, and the 2 in the middle, Autónoma and IAE, are in the Bellaterra campus, and then the first 2 are universities, while the second 2 are research institutes. Very briefly, because you can find this information in the web, but it is just to, in a snapshot, show you also how is the faculty of the BSE, right? So which type of faculty you are going to encounter. We are 146 affiliated professors. On top of this, of course, there is also invited professors that come and give courses. These are not the majority. The very vast majority of professors will be from the BSE faculty, but we also have, of course, invited professors. We have 146 BSE affiliated professors, and those are very top professors in the field. Of course, we all hold a PhD, and then we are very international community. We come from very different parts of the world, from origin. We have studied our PhDs also everywhere. So, we do have also very strong PhD programs, as you know, in the Barcelona area, but, we have both people that done the PhD here, but they are from outside, but also people that come from here and have done the PhD outside. That 77% of the PhDs of the faculty of the BSE hold a PhD from outside. We have, these are measures of research. So we have a large amount of fellowships. ERCs are the most prestigious at this moment scholarship, fellowships, research projects that you can get. and there are starting, consolidator, and advanced, depending on the stage of your career. And we have, as you can see here in the numbers, large amounts of professors that have ERC grant. We also have a lot of e-career research professors. That's a very prestigious program that exists only in Catalonia and is aimed at bringing academia from outside, professors from outside, or to attract them and bring them in the Barcelona area in all disciplines. And of these 146, 17 are career research professors, which is extremely large amount in relation to the size of this program. We are top institution in Spain, top 1, top 4 economic department in Europe. So we are number 4 in Europe, number 1 in Spain, and we are top 12 in the world, right? So we are a very well-known institution in research. Then all this research that we do, we want to put it in the service of education. We teach these master programs in which we put our knowledge, our contacts, we put our frontier research, everything in the master's program. Of course, you will also have foundation courses that, you know, are more basic and maybe they're not in the research frontier in the first term. But then as a master evolves, you will see that you are going to be taking courses from professors that are very well known in the field, that they are frontier research, they know frontier research, they do frontier research in the field of the course they are teaching. The masters are 6 credits. They are 1 year. They start in September and they finish in July. They are, of course, taught in English because we are an international institution. And something very important, they are recognized by the Spanish education authorities. Why is it so important? It's very important not only because we have a quality control, that can be more or less important depending on which type of institution you are, but most important, these are official titles that many of you will know that in your country of origin, for a title to be recognized, not only for a scholarship before you come in, but also when you come out to get recognized a master if you want to work in a public institution, for example. The only masters that really count in Spain are those that are officially recognized. We are there. So when you see a list of I'm looking for a scholarship, or I'm at work now and I want to progress in my career in the Ministry of Canada, I'm just making it up. What do I need to look for? You need to look that in Spain, the masters have to be recognized. We have 3 big master programs: master degree economics and finance, master degree in specialized economic analysis, and master degree in data science. And then within each master, there are master programs that we call them, each of them specializing in different issues. In the case of the master's degree in economics and finance, we have the program in economics and the program in financial economics. We have both. They share a lot of courses. The first term, for example, is very common because it's a master in financial economics, which means that economic theory is a big fundament. And then we have the PhD track that is meant for those students that want to do the PhD. And this is the first year of the PhD. This is the master that corresponds to the first year of the PhD program of the Pompeu Fabra. Okay, we also have another PhD program at the Autónoma, but the master is organized by the Autónoma only, while at the BSE, we collaborate by providing support in this PhD track. Then we have the master degree in specialized economic analysis. That's huge master as well because it has a lot of different programs specializing in specific areas of knowledge, okay, within, of course, economics. All of them are rigorously taught. They tend to be very quantitative. I can never say this word, so you can already tell I'm not English. So, well, you could tell that from second number 1, but still now you can reinforce your previous knowledge. So they are very strong, quantitative, theoretical foundations. So they are all very much rooted in serious economic analysis, but with different areas of specialization. We have one in competition, regulation, and markets, one in economics of public policy, not public policy, economics of public policy, one in international trade, finance, and development, one in macroeconomic policy and financial markets, and one in economic energy, climate change, and sustainability. So those are the second. And then finally, we have a master in data science, one program in methodology, so much more lean towards the statistics and the math and the computer science behind the data science, and another one which is on decision making, on how to apply all these tools. Of course, again, very rigorous, very strong training, so it's not an easy master either. It's not that methodology, it's tougher in that sense. They are all very rigorous, but this one is already thinking about applying this to decision making. This is case analysis, okay? So as said, we have these programs, and I would strongly recommend you to go to the web page and look very carefully. So what do you have to look for? Well, you have to read the description of the master program, but you also have to look at the topics, so which courses are offered in each master. And then I even encourage you to go in the syllabus of the courses and look what are the contents of the courses. And these things can give you a very good flavor on what exactly each specific program will offer. Okay, so I strongly recommend you to look very careful at the webpage. Also, do feel free and do please feel encouraged to contact the master directors if you have a specific question. Is that program for me? Would I be a good candidate for that program? The admission process takes into account as well your interests. We do try, no, and we do succeed in doing a good match and, recommending to a student, maybe given your background, do you know that this master is about this? So we also contribute to this, but it's very important that yourself look very well, very careful, the program web pages, and get in contact with the master director if you have specific questions. As this was already in the bit, right? English, September to July, so 11 months master programs. Rigorous training for ambitious students. There are masters in which you have to work very hard. I'm sure our alumni here can certify this. It's many hours of work, hard work, but then you have a very good reward afterwards. And this is the training that you acquire and the jobs you will be able to get. 96% placement within 6 months of graduation, this last class. Percentages do not vary a lot in jobs that are strictly related to the field of study. People finish the master and they really go to high jobs, high profile jobs, perfectly suited for their interests and the master skills acquired. Okay, so it's rigorous, it's a lot of work, but you have two important rewards. You learn a lot on what you like, and then you can find a job on what you like. So it's two types of rewards. And then we also offer, of course, activities, academic activities, career activities, network activities, social activities. So you will come here and you will have to study a lot, but we will also find room for you to network with each other, for you to start doing and getting in contact with different firms. Career services will help you find opportunities. And then some social activities will also be provided. Again, top school to be in, top researchers, so, top professors will be teaching you. The school, as I already was mentioning a bit when I was talking about the 4 units that conform the BSE, have 2 campuses. One campus in Vilaterra, where I am currently located, and one campus in Ciutadella, Pompeu Fabra. One is 35 minutes, 30 minutes is here, depending on where you live in Barcelona. In train from Barcelona, direct trains that go to the Vilaterra campus. And some master's classes are also scheduled there. So, you will have in the webpage, you will see whether the master program is taught in Ciutadella or in Vilaterra and Ciutadella. And that means it depends on the master. Again, contact the program office. Admission will tell you more or less which percentages of classes or whether it's a full term in one place or no, etc. But in the webpage, it provides clear information whether it's in one campus or in both campuses. And depending on those information, then at a later stage, you also can decide about housing and other activities around this information, okay? And then we have the Ciutadella campuses, which is located in Barcelona, and in there we have master programs as well. Again, some classes are in both campuses, but also in Ciutadella, we all have other academic offer. We have the summer school, big thing. Many people, many students come for 3 weeks in Barcelona, and they take thousands of hours of courses in different topics. And then we also offer professional courses during the academic year. Just very briefly, before I pass the word to Sandra from admissions, a bit of an idea of the type of student profile we have. This information is also on the webpage, but so that you know, we have this year, for example, this is for this year, but this is very representative. It hasn't changed a lot over the years. It changes slowly, but it's over the last 10 years, these are the numbers. We have 771 students, 50 countries. The average age is 26, so it's fairly young. We do have some students straight from the undergraduate, so those will be like 23, or 22 even. But we will also have students with some years of experience. But this 26 is not an average between 22 and 45. It tends to be an average between 23 and 30. So most of the mass of students will be between these ages, okay? Although, of course, we do have also older students and not only one. Our candidates typically will have a degree in economics, but also in engineering or in business administration, in math, or in political science. Nevertheless, like, I don't know the numbers now by heart, so I apologize about this, but I would think like 80% at least it's economics, okay? So we are a school of economics. We have some people in statistics, for example, in data science, also in economics, but it's mostly 80% economics, and the rest will be math, engineering, political science. And when I say economics, I'm thinking broad economics and some business administration, although that much more economics. So here you can see the numbers of the number of students. You see that only 10% are from Spain. So we are really an international environment. 10% of the students are from the country, and the rest are from everywhere else. 55% are from Europe, without including Spain. So Europe in total is 65. It's 55 from Europe and 10% from Spain. And then we have a percentage of people from North America, some others from South America, Australia. We have a small percentage, but there are also less Australians in the world. So that makes sense. There are fewer of those. And then Asia, 14% as well. So really where we have fewer people is from Africa. And because Australia, New Zealand, there are fewer people, so it makes sense that there are fewer people. So that's very briefly, I know, but that's the idea, that it's all very brief, an explanation of the academic part. And now I'll give the word to Sandra.
Thank you, Ada. Can you go to the next slide so I can start the presentation? So as we mentioned before, there is a very active career office who try to assist students in finding the right opportunity, either in a professional path or sometimes a research path. They organize events throughout the year, ranging from one-to-one meetings with a member of the career services, or helping you in improving your CV. They organize fairs so that companies come to campuses and meet with current students. There are training workshops, and also you will have access to an exclusive job portal. So that would be, because we are a small school in terms of number of students per intake, we can afford to provide a more personalized service to our students. Maybe Rishabh has experience about this, and he can later explain or tell you about his experience. Okay. Also, I wanted to mention that on the 4th of December, there will be a careers webinar. This session will be exclusively on careers opportunities, and I encourage you to register. This is the link. I will pass you the link or presentation for those who can, well, who want to attend the webinar. Probably you have received an invitation as well via email, but if not, just let me know, write us, and I'll provide the link. But I think it's very interesting, and you should join us on December. Okay. Next slide, Ada. Thank you. This is a brief information about the placement I wanted to mention here, but the guys of the Careers Office will develop in the webinar. 96% of the students they land in as Ada said before, in a job related to the masters. Most of them they go 26 to consulting firms, and then 23% of the graduates they go on to research or to postgraduate studies in academic institutions, and then 16% they go to NGOs, 15 to government and authorities, 13% in financial services, depending, of course, on the profile of the student and the job they want to to pursue after graduating. 5% for technology, and 2% other industries. We've got, if you're interested in specific information about by program, placement by program, we can provide, if you send us an email, a full placement report. Okay. So every year we organize some social events. So although the program is very intensive, I have to say that they are this is very important for you to know. There are lectures scheduled from Monday to Friday in the mornings and afternoons. So you will be busy. I mean, from what I see on campus, I see the students, they spend the whole day on campus, either on class or in the library, working on projects, or but usually you would spend the whole day on campus from 9 until, I don't know, depending on the masters around the term, but classes can run until 5, 6, sometimes later. But it's one of those masters that is very demanding. I know this is important because when you apply, for you to know, because, for example, you won't have time to taking up a job, for example. It is true that international students can work in Spain while studying 20 hours per week, but we do not recommend at all to work and study. You won't have the time, and you probably jeopardize your academic performance if you do. So I'm saying this because I know some masters they do have a few hours per week, but this is not one of those. Okay. But let's go back to social activities. We organize every year a futsal tournament where all the students can organize themselves in groups. I think they play against each other by masters. Also, we organize a nice meal on the garden. Of course, we are in Spain, so we have to treat you with Spanish food, especially at the beginning of the academic year. Okay. Also, I think they organized a ski trip to Andorra in the mountains. We are very close to the Pyrenees, so for those who like skiing and snowboarding, it's fantastic. And there are a few things more, but yeah, there are social events organized. Okay, so you can mingle with students from other masters as well. And then I explain the application process. Okay. I'll give you some details about the admissions criteria and the actual process. So when looking for candidates, because all masters are very quantitative, as Ada said before, we look for students who are strong in maths, statistics, econometrics, things like that. And we look as well at the GPA, the global GPA, but also in the marks results in the specific modules, quantitative areas, and also related to the master. So another key element in the admissions criteria is the reference letters. We request 2 reference letters to support your application. We like better letters signed by professors or academic, someone from the academia. What we do is once you apply, you need to provide the contact details of 2 referees, and right after you submit your application, we get in contact with them by email and provide them a brief guide about how to write, not how to write the letter, but the information we need in that letter to properly evaluate your candidacy, and with a link to upload the letter to the application platform. Okay. Then you need to hold before applying, make sure that you comply with the requirements, which you need to hold at least an undergraduate degree or equivalent of 3 years. That in Europe is 180 ECTS. 1 ECTS is equal to around 25 hours of work. Okay, so you can do your maths. If you are not a native English speaker, we require an English language test, which most of the English tests out there we accept. The TOEFL, the IELTS, the Duolingo test, and you can see the different points required there. If you are not a native English speaker, but you did your degree in English, either your undergraduate degree or a master's, you don't need to provide an English test to apply, okay? Because we assume that your English level is good enough already. The GRE is only mandatory for students applying to the PhD track program. And for the rest of the masters, it's recommended, but it's not mandatory, okay? Also, for the PhD track program, you have to have 4 years of university studies. This could be in the form of 3 years, the bachelor's degree plus a master's, or 4 years undergraduate degree, so on. Okay, but 4 years in total. Can you change the slide? Yeah. So please take note of this because this is very important. I can see questions in the chat, but I will try to answer them at the end of the webinar, okay? I think my colleague Lupe is trying to answer them, but there are too many of them. So don't worry if there are any questions left, we try to reply at the end of the session. So deadlines to apply. We are now at the moment admitting applications. There are 2 rounds of applications. The first round ends on the 15th of January. This is very important. This is when most of the funding is allocated. So we always recommend to apply before the 15th of January. This first round is not based on rolling basis. That means that we are receiving now applications, we put them on hold, and then on the 16th of January, we open the pool, we go through all applications, the different admissions committees, and when we start delivering decisions. Decisions usually you need to allow us 4 or 5 weeks to go through all the files, and then the decisions are delivered via email. So we don't remember, we don't post any admissions letters on the post, okay? Everything is sent via by email. So it's very important that when you apply, your email address is correct. There is a second application deadline, which is the 2nd of July. So the second round starts on the 16th of January, goes to the 2nd of July. And this round, yes, we process the applications on a rolling basis. So this means that we receive the applications, and when the application pack is complete, we pass it to the admissions committee, and then they can, process the application. And again, when the application pack is complete with 2 reference letters, we pass it to the admissions committee. And again, depending on the time of the year, we can deliver an answer between 3 to 5 weeks. Okay. Remember that we cannot process your application until we receive the reference letters. The process is conducted online, okay? There is an application platform that I think the process is quite simple, it's quite easy comparing to other processes that I've seen. You just need to create an account in the application platform, which is, you got the link of there. You fill out an application form, and then you need to provide the supporting documents in PDF format. And this is the list of the supporting documents. Again, bearing in mind what I explained before, the English test is only mandatory if you are not a native or you have not studied in English. Sometimes students hold more than 1 degree or more than 1 master's. So what you need to do probably is to merge all the information in one PDF and upload it in the right section. If you have any questions anyways during the process, you can always contact the admissions office. Remember, we cannot, we must wait for the referees to provide the letters. Sometimes the professors never get, or the referees never get our email because it's an automated email, and sometimes it goes to the spam folder. So my advice, before applying, talk to them and let them know that you are applying. It would be a good idea if you, provide information about the masters you are applying, so they can write a sound letter, and that's it. So we, after applying, will be in touch with you and letting you know when a referee provides a letter, so you know what is happening. And also, when your application is complete and passed to the admissions committee, we also let you know. So we are in contact all the time with you throughout the process. Okay. With just one application, you can include 3 different programs. Okay. This is your choice, of course. You can just apply for 1 program, for 2, or for 3. Just 3 different programs. You will be considered for all programs at the same time, and therefore the offers might be delivered at different times, and the offers could also be different in terms of funding, most likely because your profile is a better fit for this program than the other. But again, all decisions are delivered by email, so remember to also check the spam folder yourself, because they are automatic emails. And I think this, I think I explained this before, but the reference letters, they have to be included in the pack. Sometimes during the first round, you always write us and say, well, my reference provided the letters, it's ready, but in any case, we won't provide you decision during the first round until not before mid-February, I would say, okay? Because we need time to process all the applications and make decisions, of course. There is funding available for students. and the funding is always allocated at the time of admissions. So if you received an offer and we don't mention any funding, that means the offer does not include a tuition fee waiver. But if an offer includes the package course with funding, you will know all the conditions and terms in the email with the decision. Okay. Then, of course, if you receive more than one offer, you need to accept one. You can, of course, you can decline all of them, but I hope not. But once you accept one offer, the others offers are declined automatically. So be careful before making decisions, okay? And this is done via the application platforms one. So you log in and you see your offers, and then you choose one, and the others are declined. Or the other way around, you can decline one because you are sure that it's not good for you, and then accept an offer. My advice is that you wait for all decisions to be delivered before making, a choice. Financial support. So there is financial support in the forms of tuition fee waivers. These are merit-based. So the key element on your application pack is going to be, of course, your GPA, your academic results, also the motivation. Please invest time in writing a good statement of purpose, because sometimes you don't reply to the information we want to know, which is basically why are you applying to this school, to this particular master's, what are your motivations, what areas or skills you expect, or areas of knowledge or skills that you expect to acquire, and finally, what are your plans after graduating. So I recommend you not to talk too much about your achievements, because we got your information, your CV, your academic information, so you can briefly, of course, present yourself, but then it's more important for us to know your motivation and what brings you to apply for this program in particular. The funding can cover part of your tuition fees. Usually there are tuition fee waivers for covering the 25, 50, 75, 100%, sorry, although this the most common type of funding is covers 25 or 50% of the tuition fees, I have to say, okay? In any case, you don't need to send a separate application fee. All students are considered for any financial support available. Again, it's not the same applying before January during the first round, January 15th, that during the second round. The later you apply, the fewer chances are not only to be admitted, because places, are allocated to earlier applicants, but also to have to receive a waiver. So that's the dates, the application dates, and the rounds are important when applying. You've got here our phone number and email address. Again, that's a reminding about the careers webinar, and now I want to pass the word to our alumnus, Rishabh Rastogi, a graduate from the Master's in Economics. Rishabh.
Thank you so much, Sandra. Hi, everyone. I'm Rishabh. As Sandra mentioned, I was in the 2023 cohort of the Masters in Economics program. I'm just going to talk a little bit about how my experience was of the Masters, how living in Barcelona was, and at the end, open to any questions that you might have. So my personal experience was really fantastic. The master's program is quite intense. And as you have seen in the presentation, you might have read the word rigorous here and there, and I want you to take that seriously. It's actually quite a rigorous training, but it's quite enjoyable. You do learn a lot of things. I felt I learned a lot of concepts in depth. There was a lot of choice of different subjects that I could pick from. The professors are all at the top of their fields. They are very approachable. And not just for academics, but even if you want career advice or anything else, they are super approachable. The BSE also has the admin staff, the program staff that's going to be there to help you or troubleshoot wherever it's needed. The career services team is also quite helpful. They are available. They check CVs. They can prepare you for interviews. I also personally avail their services, and it added tremendous value. They were able to check the gaps in my CVs, cover letters, and help me prepare for the interviews. Overall, I felt that the degree opened a lot of doors for me, especially for international applications. I felt that people were more open to answer my questions and network because of the BSE brand. I felt more confident, not just because of the academic quality, but also because of the brand name. So whenever I would approach people, I would network with them, try to ask about openings, about their company work, etc. I felt that there was that factor that, okay, you're from BSE, and they were more open to answer me. And in fact, in my current job as well, where I'm working, during the interview process, my boss did mention that, okay, you being from BSE is actually a positive. And we do have some people from BSE already working in the organization, and they were quite impressed with the training that people from BSE bring. Also, a really good alumni network. You could always reach out and ask for help. Apart from the academics, the career opportunities, I think the life in Barcelona is awesome. I miss it every single day. There's so much to do. There's something for everyone. I really miss running on the promenade along the beach. It's a very lively city. And as Sandra also mentioned before, BSE also organizes social events. So it's not just work hard, but it's also play hard if you choose it. And really happy to answer any questions if anybody has them for me. Over to you, Sandra.
Thank you, Rishabh. Maybe you could explain a bit about what is your job at the moment and what you do, and what industry?
Absolutely. So currently, I am working for a non-profit consulting firm that's based out of Colombia. It's called Instiglio. What they do is they work with philanthropies and with governments in the global south to create public programs. So let me give you an example. One of my current project is I'm working with the World Bank and British Asian Trust in Pakistan, and we are developing the design for a result-based education system. So you increase the education outcomes, but you don't get the money until the results are achieved. So that's the kind of work that I have been doing. I did something similar with the UK government in Northeast Syria. We designed an impact bond for humanitarian demining. But the work overall revolves around international development. And that's something that's very close to my heart. That's something that I wanted to do. And in all honesty, BSE played a huge role, not just in me getting that job, but also because that's where I truly realized that this is the path that I want to go down on. It took me just one or two lectures of development economics to decide, okay, this is it for me.
Okay, thank you very much, Rishabh. So I consider that there are a lot of questions without answer, right, Lupe, in the QA. Maybe I can read them out and we try to answer. The very specific questions about your profile or background, please send us an email, because I would like to answer questions more general for all students, because otherwise we would be here for too long. That's my fear. So I would like to know, Anselmo Joao is asking, I would like to know if you have any master's degree in economics for those who are interested in deep skills on DCG models. On the other hand, if there is a master's degree that takes at least 2 years. I think that all masters they last more than just 1 day, just 1 year. that is 60 ECTS credits, but there is the opportunity to do a second master's in a row with some benefits like discounts on the fees and stuff like that, and that would be 2 years. And some of the students actually they do it. I don't know, Ada, if you can answer the about the content in Master in Economics.
Yeah. One thing also to emphasize again, this thing that can you hear me well? No, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, only to emphasize that what you were saying, no, that there are enough students, not a lot, but there are some students that want 2 years master, and in that case, they complement, no, what Sandra was saying. There are the benefits, that everything is also explained in the webpage. And if you have successfully completed one master at the BSE, then you get almost direct admission to the other master. And then combinations you can think of, any master of the specialized economic analysis, and then the data science of decision making, or the master in economics, and then a master more towards a specific field you want to focus of the master of specialized economics, etc. Right? And then about the contents of the program, as I said, no, it's important that you look at the different web pages, look exactly the courses that there is, but especially if you think, okay, macro is my thing, right? Then I would strongly suggest that you contact the directors of the macroeconomic program and get in touch with them, because you ask very specific questions. I was also looking myself in that. I'm not very good on Zoom, by the way, as you can already tell. But I also looked at these questions in the chat. And for me, it's hard to, I mean, if it's more broad, like saying, I want to work in consulting on energy market, or then I can kind of guide more. But if it's very concrete about, about contents of the master DG models and things like this, really, I think that, I don't want to say anything that then it's not, fulfilling your preferences or your expectations. So I prefer you look in the master web pages, and then please do strongly encourage to contact
Or you can send us an email, and I will we can get you in contact with the director of the masters or someone from the faculty. Okay.
And then one thing, because I saw some people asking about the age, so I'm sorry if I came out as someone that I meant to say that there is a large population of our students that are not coming straight from the undergraduate, but maybe with only 2-3 years of experience. That's true, but it is still true that we have sufficiently enough people that are much older, and that they have really very long experience also working in the private or in the public sector, and that they come to the BSE to do a master. So I didn't want to sound, because I saw some of the questions in the chat, I really didn't want to sound that the BSE was a place for young people only at all. Simply describing a fact that there is a lot of people, but that's, I guess, everywhere. People usually tend to invest in human capital when they are a bit younger, and then, it's more costly because we get involved in our life, and then it's more hard sometimes to invest in human capital, but we welcome really very much all type of experiences, and we think that these things actually enrich the class. It was a pure descriptive thing, and we do have older people in the class.
Okay. So the next question is, what is the minimum GPA required? We don't officially, we do not require a specific GPA to apply. But I would say, and this is unofficial information kind of, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say the profile of an admitted student, he would score an 8, more or less, okay? But because the admissions process is holistic, we'll say. It's just the GPA, is your specific marks in some classes, the reference letters, and also you have to take into account the pool of applicants, that is the people you are competing with to get admitted. So, but no, the answer is there is no specific minimum GPA to apply, okay? Then, about taking or not the GRE, and it's a lack of economics of heavy. We do have students admitted without a background in economics, few, but I would say the backgrounds would be engineering, maths, political science, kind of related to economics, so with the whole degrees in quantitative areas like physics or something like that. But it depends really on the time you, the program you want to apply. I would say if you apply for the master in economics, it's difficult to get admitted if you are not an economist per se, but it's difficult to answer without knowing more information. If your profile is not very quantitative, I recommend you to take the GRE test. This is true. And focus on the quantitative part of the test and score about, again, we don't require any specific GRE score, but I would say you would, score around the 80th percentile. Okay.
Yeah, and again, to stress that what Sandra was saying, we in the admissions committee, I'm not part anymore of the admissions committee, but I used to be, and we do look at especially, we look at the transcript subject by subject, right? So our objective is that people everyone can have the opportunity to attend the BSE if we think it's going to be for them feasible. So we look at the transcript really like course by course, and you may receive, for example, if you come from a background that is very different, you may receive an email from the master director, because then the committee will pass the information to the master director saying, listen, we are seeing this or that. We encourage you to prepare better for this. Do you think this is feasible? Or we would like to have more information about your background, etc. But in general, what we do is looking at the transcript course by course to decide whether we think that that it's that it makes sense and that you will be able to perform well at the BSc.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Nicolo Lanfranchi is asking about the PhD studies at the UPF. The most common access path is applying. You have to apply for the PhD track, and then you follow on postgraduate studies at the UPF. But your question about if it's possible to access to the UPF directly, you need to discuss this with the UPF. I cannot answer questions about the admissions criteria at the UPF. But what I know is that my advice is that you apply to the PhD track and then you transfer to the UPF. But if you want more information about this, just contact the UPF postgraduate office. Okay? Cristobal, no longer have contact with my former professor. This question is about reference letter not being from professors. We do accept letters from professionals, but you have to be careful when picking a referee who is not a professor, because they tend to write about your professional achievements. If they follow the guide that we provide them with about, for example, I would advise them to how do you apply your quantitative skills at your current job, or because of your profile, they have to demonstrate that your profile is quantitative and you're a good candidate for the program. This is what I mean. Okay. Okay, don't. The recommended minimum, this is already, we don't recommend that, we don't require a minimum GPA. Requesting the veterans GI Bill. Yes, we had students from this scheme, the Veterans GI Bill, before. So you can apply, and then if you provide, usually the process is that you provide us the forms for us to fill up, and then you can apply. I think the programs are included in this scheme. I have completed my undergraduate Yes, you can apply with a provisional certificate. I mean, it happens. Sometimes you have not received your diploma yet, but a certificate of graduation will do until you get the diploma. If admitted, bear in mind that you will have to bring to Barcelona your diploma and your transcripts, the originals with you, okay? So we can verify. Also, you can apply even if you have not graduated from your degree yet. I mean, if you are in your doing your last year, and there is a specific form that you need to fill out instead of the diploma to provide it instead of the diploma, but you could apply as well. Again, we don't require a minimum GPA to apply. Thanks for the webinar. Again, we prefer letters from professors. Oh my God, the questions are so long to read. So, this personal profile questions I won't answer, but send me an email, okay? Can students from other tracks also do a PhD later on if they decide to? Sometimes, yes. Maybe Ada wants to answer this. Can students from other tracks
No.
also do a PhD later on if they decide to?
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't find that mute at the bottom. This PhD thing, the idea is that, everyone can. These are a stepping stone also. So, for example, you have the PhD track in economics, right? That is the first year of the PhD program. But then you have all the other masters that are giving you a strong quantitative skills. They are giving a proof to the market that you are able to do research. So many students will use this PhD, these other masters that are not the PhD track, as a stepping stone towards the PhD program. Sometimes you are not sure whether you want to do PhD or not. Sometimes you only have a 3-year degree that will not open many doors because you need 4 years undergraduate or 4 years of economics experience in order to be admitted to a PhD program. So there are several reasons why people may want to do that. So a very typical career path is that I finish my undergraduate, I go to do EPP, ITFD, economics, any of the masters that is not the PhD track. I'm very young, I'm doing these masters, and then while doing that, I'm thinking like, okay, I think I'm PhD material, I think I'm doing well. In fact, beginning of the term, we always have a session on PhD advising, which I usually give myself. And then at that moment, you say like, well, you know what, maybe I want to do a PhD. And then you are 1 or 2 years doing something else, like being a research assistant, being an internship or anything while you are preparing your PhD application, thinking which type of PhD you want to do, which letters of recommendation you need. And then 2 years later, you start a PhD program, for example. So, but it's not a direct way. The only direct way to exit a PhD program is do a master program that is strictly related to the PhD, right? So there are masters that lead to a PhD directly.
Okay, okay. There is a question here about school fees, accommodation, and visas. This information is provided to admitted students. If you get an offer and you confirm your attendance, we provide information about, accommodation, where to live or where not to live in Barcelona. The school fees, they are on the web page on each of the master's pages. That you got the tuition fees, and the visa process the same. We provide full information about how to obtain a visa to all admitted students. Okay. The percentage of PhD track applicants that receive financial support, I would say most of them, they got the help with the tuition fees. Some of them they get support with stipend for to cover living expenses. An overall rejection rate. This depends, can vary a lot from one program to another, but I would say as an average, and this figure is very, it's not exact, okay? But I would say on average for the school, I think about 60% of the applicants are admitted, but it could be more, it could be less. I don't really want to, it's not for sure, okay? It's, but yeah, depending a lot on the masters. What specific subjects I've looked at with most scrutiny? For example, if you're applying to a more microeconomic focus program, are you econometric and macroeconomic marks then into account? Yes, I mean, if you are applying to the most of the programs, the master in economics, the finance also, they got microeconomic modules. So yeah, I would say econometrics is important as well for all masters. Macro maybe more for, well, macro also that is included in most of the curriculums, especially obviously in the master in macro. But yes. Ada,
So
I don't know if you
basically,
want to add
yeah, it's
something.
what I was saying, no, that it will depend a lot. So of course, we look at the transcript really, and imagine that, you know, you have a 10 in all the macro and all the econometrics courses of your undergraduate, and then you have a 6 in the microeconometrics, and you want to apply to a master that has a very strong macroeconomic background. Well, maybe it's not ideal that you have 10s in macro and econometrics and 7s in micro, but I'm sure that, you know, this is taken into account, you know, because there are subjects that are more relevant. The same thing will happen if you, for example, have very good grades in math, macro, micro, and econometrics, but let's say, you know, the subjects more related to economic history, you have a weaker grades, but you apply to a master that this is not so central. We'll take these things into account. The committee really goes through the transcript to look subject by subject. So don't get discouraged by having a weaker type of topics or whatever within your transcript.
Okay, I can't believe there are no questions for Rishabh. Are you not curious about, I don't know, what's the one day on campus? What are the faculty like or the classmates? I would ask him everything before.
They have far more serious questions, Sandra, for
Okay.
you.
Okay. I have 3 years of professional experience, macro as a researcher. Yes, you can use as you know, supervisor as a referee. Yeah, it's not a problem. There's if you have an unrelated undergrad and I'm interested in data science or working in the field, how do I qualify? I mean, in theory, if you hold a degree, a 3 years degree, and you know you comply with the application requirements, you can apply. A different thing is that you are admitted, but especially for the masters in data science, I think they are more open to consider applicants from other fields than others than economics. For example, we've got students admitted with a degree in physics, in engineering, mathematicians as well. So yeah, I mean, give it a go and see what happens. Do some master's programs fill up in the first round? Yeah, some of them. Well, it's rare, but the PhD track it always fills during the first round. So you have to apply before the 15th of January. Depends on the year, but you can apply during the second round, but again, apply as soon as you can. A freelancer in my field, taking freelancer project while taking the master's manageable. I said this before, we don't recommend working while studying. What do you think, Rishabh? Did you
Honestly,
have time?
I agree with you. I think it was quite intense, and I personally cannot see myself in that position where I'm working and studying.
Yeah, yeah. So would you spend the whole day on campus, really? Yeah. Okay. Is econometrics? Oh no, this is. What is the acceptance rate of the PhD track program? It's not on the top of my mind now. I would have to check that. Please send me an email. But there are many applicants for the PhD track. I know that. What recommendations, courses do you suggest to increase quantitative skill for someone with an undergrad in business? Ada or Rishabh?
Well, it's again the same thing. It depends a lot because business administration, you can have had math or you can have had a statistical analysis or not. So, you have to think about your transcript. But again, this is every university is very different. So look at your transcript, see how many things you have and whether you have also complementary things. Maybe you have done a summer school or maybe you have done a research assistant on a specific things. But in any case, there are sufficient business schools that have or business administration as an undergraduate that have strong quantitative support. But maybe Rishabh wants also to add something to this because he has the student perspective.
Sorry, Sandra, could you very quickly recap
Yes.
the exact question?
What, as a business administration studies student, what quantitative skills would you look for when to complete to update your profile?
I would say experience or knowledge of statistics and econometrics would be really good. And just covering the basics, right? Micro, macro econometrics is something that we do study at quite a rigorous level, and I can imagine that that's what is being expected as well.
I would say, as Ada said, take your transcripts and go to the master's website, compare the curriculum, and you can see what your profile, if you lack, I don't know, credits in econometrics, go for a course in econometrics and things like that, But because business administration, the curriculums, they can vary a lot from one university to another, so it depends on your program as well. Is there a minimum of publication you require to start? No, we don't require any publications to apply. No. Are all programs heavily focused on quantitative methods? Can you recommend programs of BSE that discuss more economics theories and its application to the real world? Ada, maybe.
I mean, they are all about the real world. So we do have the basics. So you need the tools, both theoretical and quantitative tools, to be able to solve real world problems from our, in the BSc master. So they do all have real problems. You have a master project and you have courses in which you have to write papers. There are many specific courses on labor economics, family economics, development economics, political economy. You have tons of courses in which you apply all the previous knowledge, network economics, but they all require to have a percentage, an important percentage of the classes on the fundamentals of economics. And Risha, maybe you also want to complement this.
No, I think, Professor, you covered it all. Exactly what you said.
Okay. This question, is the university currently integrating artificial intelligence tools into teaching and learning processes?
That varies a lot from program to program. There are programs for which is more relevant, like in any case, when you program, most of you will include some sort of artificial intelligence in your programming software. So that in any case, of course, but that depends a lot, it varies a lot on program to program, because as you know, the artificial intelligence has developed in different dimensions at different speeds. So it depends a lot on the type of program. In data science, for example, you will have it more involved, and not because, of course, you also have, whatever, machine learning and all that stuff that in itself is artificial intelligence, right? So the methods themselves are based on IR-based. Some of those are artificial intelligence, but also, I mean, we have, for example, of course, in data science, foundations of data science for all of you, large language models, etc. But that will vary a lot program to program, depending on the skills required for that program.
Okay, yeah, clear. That's clear. If you score a bit lower in the quantitative GRE, lower than the 80% is fine. I mean, but remember there is not one single element in the application pack that is a cutoff, is going to decide admissions. I mean, I don't think the GRE per se can decide admissions or not. But yeah, I would say you could apply with your current score. Okay, this was a question about the GRE results. If a person is admitted to 2 programs, can they defer one to the next year instead of canceling? No. Deferring is contemplated. Yes, you could defer one offer, but just one offer. I mean, if you get more than one offer, you need to choose one and then decline the others. If you are interested later on in a second master, because it's of your interest, you can apply in a row year. And probably, depending on the combination of masters, maybe you can have direct access, or if there is no, because the path is not contemplated for direct access, you can apply again. But you cannot accept one offer and defer the other. You can have one offer, and if you cannot make it, or because it's not for whatever reason, you can defer it. That's a yes, but not in this scenario.
Yeah, also because as Sandra was saying, so everything she said, plus if you successfully complete the first master,
Yeah.
then there is direct admission in the second master. So there is no risk associated as long as you complete successfully the first master, right? So you will, you don't have to do any other application process. You just have to communicate, I want to stay for another program. In the webpage, it read, students who successfully graduate from the one BSc master's degree program can stay for a second consecutive year and enroll in a second master degree program by submitting an application, which will be processed free of charge. So
Yes.
the PhD program, and there are 2 exceptions for this, that it's different, is the PhD program and the data science methodology, not decision making. The other programs, it's a packet that we thought it would be interesting for students because many of you indeed prefer to have 2 years and consider 1 year master too short. 1 year in Barcelona, not sufficient for dipping into the economics profession. And that's what we offer. 2 masters are excluded of this, the methodology of the data science and the PhD track.
Okay. All right, thank you. And books to read ahead in macro. I think if you go to the master's website and you click on each of the modules, there is a bibliography and a curriculum, so and a syllabus. So you can find a list of readings. If there are any readings before the beginning of the academic year, this would be sent to you during the summer, I believe. Is that right, Ada? Okay. Okay. Which is the more qualitative or general masters for the one of us who don't like too much maths and econometrics and like more development, institutions, growth, fiscal policy? Well, Ada, you better go with this one, Ada.
I really didn't understand the question though.
Which is the more qualitative or general masters? I mean, the less quantitative. All masters are very quantitative.
Yeah,
Even
no,
masters in economics of public policy is one of the most quantitative programs, I think, and it's about you can find modules that about development economics, or even the programming in ITFD. But you have to have a
yeah, we don't
quantitative
have
profile.
qualitative masters really.
I don't think even if you can apply, of course, but I don't know about the chances of being admitted.
Yeah. No, our masters are all very much based on quantitative
Hmm.
things. So what I was saying, for example, the economics of public policy is not a public policy program. It's the economics of public policy, which is a bit different. And if you see the programs in the web, you will understand what we mean
Yes,
by it. But I
yes.
mean, you can take our board for it, but you can also
Yeah.
go to the web.
I know we are all the time saying go to the web and check the program, but it's important because you can, and go to the syllabus because you will see first the content and then the level of the masters as well. If you compare it, for example, with other masters in data science, for example, you will see that ones they have a strong component in economics, especially the one in decision-making program and stuff. So they're not very, they're very demanding programs. So have a look at that. Do you have a maximum number of PhD applicants you accept? Well, you mean seats in the program? I think. Yeah, I think there's a limited places for each of the intakes. So yes, it's limited. The program is very small. It's very small. I would say I would range from 15 to 20 students. How many percent of the students get a place in IMF? What do you mean IMF? I don't know what is that. If you can develop the question, please, for me. Just in general, are there opportunities to work on extra research internships and what are the postgrad work opportunities? If you're interested in a specific master's, we can send you a full report. You can see where the graduates are working and the job positions as well.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. So if you asked for the report, apparently I didn't know that. So apparently Sandra can send it to you and the admissions team. And also again, in their webpage, there is limited information. So it's better to always get in contact and to go to the 4th of December admission. Maybe IMF, you mean International Monetary Fund, for example, or World Bank. I don't know. In any case, all these numbers per internship opportunities, all these, it's much better if you either ask for the report, but even better if you can make the time to go to the December 4. It's December 4, right?
Yeah, December 4th.
Webinar,
Yeah.
because really they are the career specialists there in the same way that we have here Sandra and Lupe, then we have there in the career spares, and they have everything on top of their head.
Yeah, they provide information about not only the activities they organize and the services to students, but they will provide full details on placement per program as well, and they can answer these questions better than us. It is recommended that for an undergraduate student to apply for master's degrees in specialized economic analysis. Yes, depending on your interest and the industry you want to, or the sector you want to work after the graduating. Yes. For Rishabh. Oh, Rishabh, you've got a question. How is the atmosphere in the class and with the other students? And how big or small is the class size?
I think the class size would depend on the masters that you're in, and I think Sandra would have a better information on the class size for each program. But the environment in general was quite nice. It was very collaborative. There were a lot of projects that you could do on your own or as part of the group. And I found that everybody was helpful and approachable. So overall, it was quite nice.
Yeah, bear in mind that the atmosphere is very international. We've got many nationalities in one classroom. I think the Masters in Economics is the biggest group, about 60 students, probably 50, 60 students, depending on the year. And the rest of the Masters are smaller, ranging from 20 to 40, 50 students, depending on the Masters. But always very international. We've got people from all continents on campus, so it's quite interesting as well. And I think there's no more. Oh, there you are. Rishabh, do you have any prior professional experience as well in the economics field before going to BSE?
Yes, I did. I had a master's in finance and I also had work experience in econometric modeling before I joined BSE.
But again, it's not working experience is not mandatory. Most of the students, they do not, well, most now, I think I would say the 5 last years they trained this swifting, but most of the students, they don't have any experience. And then another significant portion got like between 1 to 2 years of experience. But then again, you can find students in the data science programs with more experience, maybe 10 years of experience. This is very, it's typical in the data science masters, but it depends, yeah. You don't need working experience to apply. But if you do, of course, it's an asset. Any more questions? No? Okay. So, okay, I want to thank you all for attending this webinar. Thank you, Rishabh, Ada, Lupe. As I said, I want to remind again about the webinar, the careers webinar. It's very interesting, and thank you. I hope to see you one day on campus in Barcelona. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone. And good luck
Bye.
to all those
Thank
who are
you.
applying.
Oh,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.